Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Nachari Munatira Vanachari Munatira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradhari Girivaradhari Dana Braja Janaranjana Shoda Yashoda Braja Janaranjana Shoda Yamuna Tira Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Bolo. Yeah, Ashtok. Satasri Srimad His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nittai Gaur Premanand. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories of glories to Shishi Guru and Guranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So a very warm welcome to His Holiness Bhakti Vinod Swami Maharaj. Around 40 glorious years in ISKCON. We've known him for 35 years. And one thing I promise you is extremely, when we interact with him, he strips us of all the fakeness because he's so authentic and open. We are forced to be very open and honest with him. So, and he's got a way with youth. We are in the right place right now. And I'm looking forward to having a yatra for all the youth, taking Goa somewhere with Maharaj. It's amazing, it can be a very amazing, uplifting experience for all of us. So thank you very much for gracing your presence here, with your presence.
Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Reading today from Canto 5, Chapter 1, Text 6. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki. This is a very long shloka. This is the one. Yarihi Vavaha Rajan Saraja Putraha Priyavratah Paramo Bhagavato Naradasya Charanappasevayananjasa vagata Paramartha sattvato Paramartha sattatvo Brahma satrena dikshisyamano Avanithala Paripalana Yamanata Pravara Guna Ganaikanta Bhajanataya Swapitro Pamantrito Bhagavati Vasudeva Eva Vyavadhana Samadhi Yogena Samaveshita Sakalakaraka Kriya Kalapo Naiva Bhyanandad Yet Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Shukadeva Goswami continued, "My dear king, Prince Priyavrata was a great devotee because he sought the lotus feet of Narada, his spiritual master, and thus achieved the highest perfection in transcendental knowledge. With advanced knowledge, he always engaged in discussing spiritual subjects and did not divert his attention to anything else. The prince's father then asked him to take charge of ruling the world. He tried to convince Priyavrata that this was his duty as indicated in the revealed scriptures. Prince Priyavrata, however, was continuously practicing Bhakti Yoga by constantly remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thus engaging all his senses in the service of the Lord. Therefore, although the order of his father could not be rejected, the prince did not welcome it. Thus he very conscientiously raised the question of whether he might be diverted from devotional service by accepting the responsibility of ruling over the world." Purport: Shri Narottam Das Thakur has sung the song Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistare Paiche Kheba. Without serving the lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava or spiritual master, no one has ever attained perfect liberation from material bondage. Prince Priyavrata regularly served the lotus feet of Narada, and thus the prince perfectly understood transcendental subjects in truth, sa tattvataha. The word sa tattvaha means that Priyavrata knew all the facts about the spirit soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the relationship between the spirit soul and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he also knew all about his material world and the relationship of the spirit soul and the Supreme Lord within the material world. Thus the prince decided to engage himself only in rendering service to the Lord. When Priyavrata's father Swayambhuva Manu requested him to accept the responsibility of ruling over the world, he did not welcome the suggestion. This is the symptom of a great liberated devotee. Even though engaged in worldly affairs, he does not take pleasure in them, but remains always absorbed in the Lord's service. While thus serving the Lord, he deals externally with worldly affairs without being affected. For example, although he has no attraction for his children, he cares for them and educates them to become devotees. Similarly, he speaks to his wife with affectionate words, but he is not attached to her. By rendering devotional service, a devotee acquires all the good qualities of the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna had 16,000 wives, all of them were beautiful, and although he dealt with each of them as a beloved husband, he was not attracted or attached to any one of them. In the same way, although a devotee may enter family life and act very affectionately toward his wife and children, he is never attached to these activities. This verse states that by serving the lotus feet of his spiritual master, Prince Priyavrata very soon attained the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness. This is the only way to advance in spiritual life, as stated in the Vedas. Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata gurau tasyaite katitahi artaha prakashante mahatmanah. If one has unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master, the essence of all Vedic knowledge is revealed to him, Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Devotee always thinks of the Lord continuously. While chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the words Krishna and Hare immediately remind him of all the Lord's activities. Since his entire life is engaged in the service of the Lord, devotee cannot forget the Lord at any time. Just as an ordinary man always engages his mind in material activities, a devotee always engages his mind in spiritual activities. This is called Brahma Satra, or meditating upon the Supreme Lord always. Prince Priyavrata was perfectly initiated into this practice by Sri Narada. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, very happy to be here in Seshadripuram, Jagannath temple with all my old acquaintances and also many new who I'm going to get acquainted with. This is a beautiful story of Maharaja Priyavrata in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is so filled with lessons about how we can execute devotional service practically in this world. Although it seems that it is very lofty in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Bhagavat, the instructions given may seem sometimes lofty, it may even seem impractical to us. But the Acharya, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, is always thinking of how this can be made practical. And the Acharya's special contribution is how to bring this in practical terms. And Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has made a sterling contribution in how we can practice Bhagavad Dharma in this time and place, in the now. Similarly here, Priyavrata at some point of time is in a similar situation. And he's making decisions. In all parts of our lives we make decisions. There are lots of interesting instructions here in this. I cannot dwell on all of them in this small session we're going to have. But I'll choose one. That Priyavrata was torn between a direct Krishna consciousness experience which he had when his hand within his reach, and an indirect, harder Krishna conscious experience, that is, officiate and take responsibility for the world, for the people of the world and what they do in the world. What do I care for them? I am just bothered about myself. I can chant Hare Krishna. I love chanting, I love Kirtan, I love reading the Bhagavad, I love preaching. Let me just do that. And that's the type of decision he came to also. Every wise man would do that, right? Yes or no? Vinod. Raise your hands if you feel that what Priyavrata was saying is right. Haribol. Haribol. You may be wrong. Why? Because Priyavrata did the opposite. He actually ruled the world after that. And very successfully. He was so successful that, and his wife supported him so well, it's mentioned in great detail, that he thought the sun is illuminating only on one side of the whole globe while it's traveling around. The other side is in darkness. So he wanted the other side also lit up. And he did that. So powerful he was in his ruling. You will read how he did things and everything. But at one point of time, he's thinking, I'll not do this properly. I cannot do it. It's too strenuous and ruling over the whole world and looking after all sorts of crazy guys. I don't want to, and I'll get 1/6 of the karma on my head here. What will happen to me? I just got to look after myself and go back to God. Every sane man, every intelligent man would do that. Yes or no? Again, you could be wrong. If you read this, you will know that. Why? You will see that Priyavrata had taken a good decision. He was very smart. He was looking after himself. But his father, Swayambhu Manu, said, no, my dear son. Who is the brother of Priyavrata? Quick quiz. Uttanapada. So you know. So, Priyavrata was told by his father, Swayambhu Manu, no, I think you made a little mistake. I had some other plans for you. You're not yet supposed to take sannyas so fast. I have other plans for you. You should get married, you should have children, you should rule over the world. You should be in a different mode. You should be in the grahastha mode, in the ruling mode, in the possessing mode, in the all that mode. He had a different plan. But he thought plan A is very good and he was going ahead with it. That's what's the plan everybody follows. But his father imposed the plan B on him. And he said, who else is there to do it? And there was an argument. It's a mild, nice, cultured argument, not like the ones that we have. It's a very mild and cultured argument between two great souls. And then Swayambhu Manu was convinced that I have to convince you. So he took hold of Narada Muni also to come and tell this guy. And Narada Muni also came and told him, you got to do what your father is telling. Then he got convinced to do it. A powerful person told him, no, you got to do. I am the authority on the stuff that you want to do. That is pure devotional service and stick around somewhere and only chant and only read and only preach and only eat a little prasadam and only go to Vrindavan and stay in Mayapur and find my kutir there and my little niche and space. He said, no, you do this. How many of you have felt that tussle from your mentors, from your counselors or from your managers? That they're asking you to do this, but actually you want to do this. Right? It's happened. Priyavrata is in the same tussle. Those are the Priyavrata moments of your life. It depends on how you took decisions then. Right? Priyavrata was counseled to take decision. Now, I told you, you like to do this, but he did that and he liked it after. You may like before something and you may not do it very well. You may dislike something in the beginning, but you may like that after experiencing the reciprocation of Krishna in it. So I was just preparing a seminar and I'll take a little sliver of that and speak a little bit here. In ISKCON you will find this quite often happening to you. You'll find that I left the world of jobs and authorities above me breathing hot air down my neck with instructions and asking me to do this and that and working extra office hours and working from home and doing all sorts of things. And I come here to Hare Krishna thinking I'm completely liberated from all such things here. I will only be dancing, chanting, eating a lot of prasadam and reading and preaching and traveling and doing. But here, boy, it's the same thing again. There's a management above me. Do this, do that. But I don't like to do that. You have to do it. You have to follow authority, Prabhuji, otherwise you'll never make progress in spiritual life. Authority is supreme. And the authority also feels like that. I am supreme. And in this way there's a tussle, something wrong here. It looks like I have a Priyavrata moment of my life. I need to solve it. And I don't want any Narada Muni coming down to tell me what to do. I'll do it myself. These are all the things going on in your head. You have a hard institution and you have a soft institution. This is Professor Joseph O'Connell, Prabhupada's close friend, who analyzed Prabhupada and his institution. Later devotees also became very friendly with him and did a lot of work with him. And he said, you guys are thrown between the hard institution is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Go feel the floor and the bricks and the amount of work that has to be done to clean this place, to submit the accounts, to collect the funds, to put this thing together, to keep records and answer the statutory requirements of the country, and then discipline and plan and have organization. And Janmashtami is coming. This is your service. No, but I was thinking of preaching. No, you do this. You go for collection. You do this. Wow. There's a hard institution. To do anything in this world takes a lot of time, energy, and a lot of expertise materially with men, with money, with organization, management, with the laws of the land, and somebody files a suit on you from the hill, and then you have to defend it on the land, and then you have to, do all sorts of things. I don't want all these things. I just want to go to Vrindavan and chant Hare Krishna. Nobody will trouble me there. But then you're forced to do all these things. Yes or no? Yeah, that's the hard part of the institution. It consists of following rules, discipline, organization, meetings, and statutory laws, and difficult things which you don't want to be doing. Then there is a soft institution. There is Maharaja coming, then he will give class, and we'll do kirtan with him, and then we will talk sweet nothings with him, and then we will go for yatra with him, like he mentioned, and then there will be just nothing of this type of other thing. We'll forget about everything else, and we go for Vrindavan yatra, we eat a lot of prasadam, and we hang out here, there. Wow, so nice. Which one did you like? The hard institution or the soft institution? Of course, everybody gets association, everybody gets love, everybody gets appreciation, acknowledgement, and nobody is bugging you. Did you do that? Did you not do this? You're just free to chant in the morning, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The sun is rising above and the clouds and this beautiful breeze and the birds are twittering and I'm chanting and mumbling the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. How nice it is till the temple president comes and says, Haribol, come here. He spoiled it. So this tussle is always there for you, right? So there's a hard institution and a soft institution tussle. And inside that you are there. And you're also bothered about three things. I actually do a figure, I don't know, in the workshop. In the center is you. It's simply you. Around you, you like to have the soft institution, very close to you. Around that is the hard institution protecting the soft institution. They work very hard to protect the soft institution so that you all can have the good association, the good times and everything. So in our society, you have people working on the hard institution, the soft institution, balancing in between. Yesterday was Gopal Krishna Maharaj, our dear Gopal Krishna Maharaj's Vyasa Puja. And I know that he was expert at both. He was good at both. One of those very rare Vaishnavas who are taking the strain and the tension of handling both together. A lot of people sink into the soft and say, I have nothing to do, I don't want any responsibilities. Humko kuch nahi banne ka hai. You don't have to give me any title, nothing. Leave me alone. That's enough. I'll be sitting somewhere in the corner chanting Hare Krishna. But Prabhu, you are a PhD in so-and-so thing, you're talented, you can do this, you can do that. I have done all that before. Now you leave me alone, I have retired, I've come, But Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, very powerful. I learned a lot of things. The day before he passed away, I had met him personally in Dehradun, and we had a conversation together about many things to do with the institution and everything. And I always found that he is very concerned about both sides of it. And balancing it is a great art. And I think he was a good artist in terms of that. So we all have an institution which Prabhupada has given us. We must guard, we must contribute to it, so that our soft side is protected. Don't think your contribution to the hard side is any way a waste. Right? We need to do that. We need to protect the soft side of our institution using the hard side. Why did Prabhupada start Bhaktivedanta? Why did Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada start the International Society for Krishna Consciousness? Although he faced a lot of difficulties, organizing it, putting people there, giving it a structure, giving them responsibility and constantly telling them, this is your responsibility, this is how you do it. Plus, at the same time, writing books, being very affectionately oriented towards devotees, and doing all the things that are necessary for the expansion of the movement. All these things have to be done simultaneously. It is the duty of every devotee to do both, just like Priyavrata will end up doing. He, under Narada Muni's instructions, who is an advocate of soft institution, pure devotional service only, he told him, no, you listen to your father and do what's necessary. Why? Lot of people are waiting. Who will guide them? If there's no king properly, and you are the befitting person, you must do this. You must save human society. So sometimes we need to contribute to the hard part of the organization, and don't think bad about it. It is actually a contribution towards the soft side, because you will protect the soft side of it. So this is Kali Yuga, and there are demons ruling, mostly. And the demons don't come with horns and canines jutting out. They come very suave and slick and dressed in coat, suit, boot, and they look very nice and they are well behaved. You never know how it is. You can't make out so easily. So we need to guard our society against those type of attacks. For that, Prabhupada has made a perfect setup, a beautiful arrangement, that there will be the hard side of it and a side. This is what is governance. Prabhupada has created his own government for the Krishna consciousness movement and for the 10,000 years of its rule. So we should know that, number one, Priyavrata's decision was right, but also needed to have responsibility factored in it. For the hard side of the whole world, the maintenance of the whole world, the rules and regulations for Varnashrama Dharma, and instituting them and seeing that people follow it and that they get all the facilities necessary for doing that and progressing them. So this is what Priyavrata is doing. And Priyavrata becomes also successful at that. Under the guidance of very powerful veterans, veteran devotees, Vaishnavas, he is able to perform that, and he relishes offering this to Krishna. He relishes offering this to Krishna. So, and this aspect of the whole purport I'm just speaking on, we need to take these decisions. We should not actually separate ourselves from the institution and try to do something separate, thinking that I will do it better. Invariably, when you preach, people come to you and they give you their assets, they give you contributions and they give themselves to you. You get men and you get money. People don't get carried away by that if you're genuinely interested in focusing on the right thing. You need to manage men and money, assets. And again, you'll have to start an institution, even if you didn't name it the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Even if you didn't say that I don't want to start an institution at all, you still have to manage people, their requirements, the facilities that they need. And you didn't manage wealth and assets in such a way that it is used nicely in Krishna's service. All this means the institution. Right? So people who do that, to separate themselves, they find they're again inside another institution formed by themselves, unbeknownst to themselves. It builds up into an institution. So Prabhupada has already set it up. We need to stay in the movement and adjust things, help the movement to set it right, and then distribute Krishna consciousness to the whole world through this vehicle of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Without feeling proprietorship, without feeling possession, but utilizing everything in the service of Krishna. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. So this is a highlight that I wanted to talk about in this purport and in this shloka. It struck me as we were reading it. How Swayambhuva Manu's concern, such a great personality, was about the people of the world and the responsibility that he has towards the people of the world. A ruler should think about the people's destination, their going back to Godhead, their Krishna consciousness, what facilities we need to give them. They need all sorts of facilities because they may not be in a very high level of Krishna consciousness, like Swayambhuva Manu is. So you need to make every material facility that's required for them. So in the Krishna consciousness movement, we have a huge heterogeneous population of people at various levels of Krishna consciousness, at various levels of their own material life. They bring all sorts of baggage with them into forms of their karma. And we need to facilitate all of them to take up the pure path of devotional service gradually. And that is everybody's responsibility. That's everybody's responsibility. Out of mercy, kindness, patience, tolerance, and everything, we need to educate and do the needful to them. Counseling, like Priyavrata was counseled. He needed high-class counseling, not only from his father, whom he is very familiar with, and his father had to seek the help of somebody else to counsel, so that it will be more effective. Sometimes our counseling is not so important to people who are very familiar with us already. And so you have to seek some other counselor to assist you. And this way, in our whole society, there's a whole lot of things to do. To make the world Krishna conscious means you should accept that I should make this portion of Bangalore Krishna conscious. That's what it means by saying, Prithivite ache jatanagradi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe mora naam. And that is the mandate, that is the mantle of preaching that we have taken over in the parampara. In various places in the world, you should feel the burden of wanting to make everybody around here Krishna conscious in this part of Bangalore. And Krishna is looking upon you to do it. Lord Chaitanya is looking upon you to do it. Prabhupada is looking upon you to do it. Prabhupada's followers are all looking upon you to do it. Because you are from Bangalore in this area and you are a devotee. Whom else can Krishna look upon? Right? Whom else can Krishna look upon? The MLA here? Or the MP there? No, it's you. It's each one of you that needs to take that responsibility. It bears on you. If you are strictly following Prabhupada's instructions, you will know. He's requesting you many times to do this. You please take advantage of this. Please preach Krishna consciousness. Please distribute my books. Please make people chant Hare Krishna. Give them an opportunity. So that's why we are all in a very good position now. ISKCON has developed quite a bit. But you can imagine at those days when Prabhupada was starting the movement, what facility he had. He didn't have a facility like this to sit down in a nice place and have asan, sound system and everything arranged. Prasadam going to be ready very soon and no worry in the head about anything. And then you speak the Bhagavat. It was not like that. Many devotees in the past have gone through many austerities. I know here in Sheshadripuram what all happened from the past. What all huge amount of challenges were there. And finally you are sitting down here in this place. Many devotees have done many contributions. Right? There's a whole generation of people who have done a lot of things. So we're always grateful to all of them. And we want to take this forward and make our contribution to the whole parampara and utilize this opportunity very nicely to propagate Krishna consciousness and advance personally also in it. I will end here. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. If there are any questions and answers, I'll try to give some answers to it. Oh, it's gone out of charge. This is exactly 9. Although may not have started exactly on time, I like to finish on time. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Oh, where is that coming from? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, Maharaj, your sense of responsibility. So this is my fault which I need rectified, so I need an answer. how do I instill in myself this sense of responsibility? Because many times I have a feeling, okay, somebody else will do it. Okay, I mean, I need not do it. There are so many other people, somebody's preaching, they are preaching. So I don't have that sense of, serious responsibility for preaching. How do I instill that?
So, since you thought somebody else will do it, has somebody else done it for a long time? No, it's not happened, right? So you have to take the responsibility. It may be right sometimes when we say that somebody else is supposed to do it and they do it, or they don't do it. If they don't do it, then you have to be in that forum to say this has to be done. Spoils the name of the society. We lose a great opportunity to preach, and we're losing mileage. When all these things happen, you have to be concerned. Everybody has to be concerned. Everybody should be given a voice to say so, and we get feedback and we know and we move ahead and take some action towards that. You see, somebody else will do it is true. At least we should be responsible for making sure that somebody else will do it. You don't have to do it, but you should make sure that somebody else will do it. Prabhupada did it because he has nobody else to do it. He was 70 years old and he was cooking, washing, cleaning, and he was preaching, he was writing, he was traveling, whatnot. Because sometimes we are in positions where there's nobody else to do it. So you have to do it. Because the movement needs it. Right? So he felt that responsibility being the founder Acharya. Similarly, in the management, you should feel the responsibility. And you should do something about it. That's what I mean with the heart institution portions of it. It's sometimes very painful. And you feel alone, nobody else wants to do it. Like that. But then we need to educate everybody that whatever you're doing will stop if you don't contribute to this. So, how to get that sense of responsibility? One of the best ways is to move with people who have that sense. Instead of shunning them. Oh, this guy will come with all sorts of rules and regulations and tell me point this and point that and all that. I don't like him. He's not workable with. No. He may be doing that for a higher purpose. And you cannot look at your instant gratification with Krishna consciousness aspects alone. But you should look at the long-term aspects of it and feel that I think what he's saying is correct. Good. And take part in the responsibility. Because ultimately it will contribute to your quick Krishna conscious growth internally. When you take these type of responsibilities, which are sometimes difficult to do, your growth is faster. That's a sacrifice. Prabhupada made a sacrifice. He taught people. He just really was a huge sacrifice. When I heard that Prabhupada taught by his exemplary action. I heard from New York devotee. I was, I think, giving a session in that 26 Second Avenue place where Prabhupada started. And he told me that, do you know that in the beginning stages here, people did not know how to treat a sannyasi, a sadhu, or somebody from. And so there was one toilet here and they were all standing in the queue to use it, and Prabhupada also bought his gamcha and stood in the queue. And that's the way it is in America. It's like, stand in the queue, everybody's equal. We are an equal society. So he stood in the queue. And then after eating and watching Prabhupada cooking and serving all of them and giving them class, giving them kirtan and everything, they had some, the influence of the super soul. Standing in the queue after 1-2 days, they looked at each other and said, I think the Swami should go first, right? And they said, you can go. He said, thank you. And he used his own place. He used to stand in the queue for using the toilet, but he did it. He was teaching. And for that he was going through this. And amazingly, they said that, Swamiji, I think you should go first. Use it. So I felt very emotional when I heard that. To what extent did Prabhupada go to start the Krishna consciousness movement? what austerity he is willing to take. Amongst people who don't know how to treat a sadhu, treat a sannyasi, or treat a 70-year-old man. They don't have that etiquette at all, but is completely relying on Krishna. And Krishna, as super soul in the heart of these people, actually directed them, do this, tell them to go. It's actually happening like that. Completely dependent on Krishna. So it doesn't matter that you may be in a situation where it's difficult and responsible, but we are doing it for Krishna. You should depend on Krishna and step into it. And invariably Krishna will send a solution. Okay, these are the things, how to be responsible, you ask me. Okay, you raise your hands and he, and that's it. After that I go eat my prasadam.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, sometimes as a part of responsibility, a certain task is given which is completely contradictory to one's nature. Like, for example, if somebody is given task to clean temple area, he may be able to do it easily. But same person is asked to control the crowd, it will be very difficult for him. And sometimes we have seen people like they are given responsibility which doesn't suit their nature, they have collapsed, they have become frustrated. So,
these are all matters of details. This all can be worked out with the local management. You have to sit down and talk about it. Sometimes you may be also thinking that I am not fit to do this. I am not supposed to be doing this. I am supposed to be sitting on the podium on the asana and preaching. Why am I sweeping the floor? Well, then definitely you must sweep the floor. You need to sweep the floor. According to the authority, you should sweep a lot of floors. Then you become qualified to sit and speak. That's the way spiritual management works sometimes. And I say that you should accept menial tasks as a great purifying factor. And you will be qualified to do the other. Transference and the communication of Krishna consciousness will be more pure. So it's the other way to think about it. When we are in an emergency, it's not that, Prabhuji, what is your qualification? Where did you come from? Well, there's not the time to ask that. Whoever I get, can you help out by doing this? Let's do it. Let's do it. Or if you have a better idea, let me have him do it and I can do this because I don't think anybody else can do this. I'll do this and I'll come back and do this. If you're really open to service, then you'll find out a solution instead of complaining about the authority. It's a dynamic, proactive, willing to do any seva type of mood in which we can get great results. But if you have, like they say, dignity in labor in the outside world, if you think about in that way, dignity, this is not what I'm supposed to do. Prabhupada also was not supposed to clean up and clean all the pots and cook in the kitchen. We're not supposed to do that. He did all sorts of things. Right? So devotional service is absolute. If you do it in that mood, you don't mind doing anything. Whatever Krishna has brought in front of you and that's needed to be done, let's do it. It's very important to approach devotional service with the right mood. Don't try to use material discrimination as a judgment on anything spiritual. You will just create problems. But you can always have a dialogue and a discussion and work out things.
Actually, just it's like little generic, but thing is, we think that when we consider the harder side of institution also is important, and we try to take responsibilities, but we fall short of our morning program standards or like that. In that case, how can we say that?
Don't take responsibility to that extent that you have to sacrifice the core actions of sadhana. That nobody said. I didn't say that. I didn't say take hard responsibility at the expense of your own personal spiritual life. There's no analysis. You must get up from Mangalarti and chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds a day and read Prabhupada's books. No analysis required. It's a must.
For hard institution responsibilities.
No, I'm saying don't do hard institutional responsibilities at the expense of your basic core sadhana. then what's the use? You'll not do it anyway properly. Okay? Don't bite more than you can chew. You heard that saying? Don't bite off more than you can chew. Or as you get chewed by Maya. Nobody asked you to do that. No management will tell you, it's okay Prabhu, don't chant Hare Krishna, this is more important for you to do this. Everybody is given free space in the morning, attend the Mangalarti and then you chant. Make the management be in such a way that people are facilitated in the morning to chant and finish their rounds and get some time for reading. Don't accept projects and other things that are too heavy and that eat out of your basic sadhana. Sometimes, okay, Janmashtami, 24 hours, 48 hours you do, you find it difficult, you didn't chant or something, then you disappear for the next 2 days after Janmashtami. Chant your japa, and that's common everywhere. That's, because heavy crowd of people come and you're required. Those things, you go and make it up next. Those practical things are there, don't talk about it much. But basically you have to be serious about your sadhana. That's why I said you are in the center. You're reaching out from here, across the soft institution, across the hard institution, to the secular world outside to preach. And all these are your securities. First security is yourself, you and your sadhana. Without that you can't even interact in the soft institution properly. You are the main person for you. Yes or no? Okay. Who else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, as you are explaining about Priyavrata Maharaj, who wanted to do his own way of spiritual life, which is authorized, and also at the end he agreed upon the instructions of his father and guru and grandfather also, which is also right, because he is doing out of his authorities, suggestions and instructions. So when it comes to our life now, we have some inspiration, we have some self-motivation to do some services and other things. And is that those self-inspiration is considered to be a contamination, because we understand originally also when we come to material world, we want to do something for Krishna than doing what Krishna wanted us to do. So when we take responsibility roles, it's only should be taken if it is given by the authorities, not ourselves. We should take responsibility and taking up facilities.
Don't struggle so much. You always have Guru, you have other Vaishnavas, you have an organizational authority. You should ask them, bounce off these things. They are not to be only seen as persons who will not understand you. That need not be the default understanding. And beyond all that, Krishna knows your sincerity and he is also guiding you as super soul in the heart. Don't forget that. The process works correctly, as is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Bhagavat. Priyavrata Maharaj definitely had his individuality exercised. You must. Well, I don't want to actually do this. I would rather chant and read the Bhagavat and renounce and go to the forest, and that's what Priyavrata was ready to do. Because I have full knowledge, like it's mentioned here. He knew about the Lord, about this material world, the relationship between the Lord and this material world. He knew why he was here in this world. He knew all these things. So he took a decision like that. But then, he was told is, Rayar, for you there is no, doubt about the fact that you will go back to Godhead. While it is like that, why don't you give some time? Since your life is secured, you've already arrived at this conclusion in life, which is safe. Why don't you spend some time for others? Before you get out from here, why don't you spend some time here? Why not? What's wrong with that? That's the type of argument that came. And then the only thing about that is, I like to do that or I don't like to do that. And both authorities came and said, you may like, you may not like, but you must. Because it's needed. It's a need of the hour. And whom else can we ask? So sometimes you're in situations where, although you have a great plan and it is correct, you may have to succumb to the orders of your authority out of due respect and culture. I must do that because I'm being asked to do that. So these are great moments in your life because Krishna will be very pleased with you also. That's why this quote, Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tata guru tasyete katita hi artaha prakashante mahatmana. Because he's a Mahatma. And he, like Prabhupada said, what else am I for? You can make me dance Krishna however you want to. Use me, you can use me. That's high level of surrender. You know, it's not enough if you say, I know what to do, how to go back to Godhead, I've cracked it, and I'll follow that. That's one way of looking at it, and maybe you'll go back to Godhead. Great. But while you're here, if you also remain surrendered to certain authorities who are looking at your interest and also looking at the general interests of the people of this world and would like you to contribute, why wouldn't you not make that sacrifice? What's wrong? So, pitted against your desire and you want to do it in a particular way, and against that is the general plan for the organization and for this is the way it's better to go, Prabhu, if you can, this thing. And they are eligible, I mean, what shall I say, qualified people telling you this, who are experienced. Why won't you listen? So there are always greater ways of doing things and sacrificing and contributing in a greater way. If you get a chance, I think it's good to do it, because it contributes to your growth also. So you have to get a larger picture and think about it maturely and take advantage of it. That's what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada called upon his God brothers. I said, the opportunity here is very good, please come. And he said, he knows they'll be thinking like this. He said, you can be the president. You can take the post. I'll assist you. I'll just be your assistant. Because I just want to serve and make this successful, because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted it. That is my criterion. I'm willing to sacrifice anything if this will happen. I don't want anything. They didn't reply. They said, Abhay Charan, we are big fishes in small ponds here. Each one has got our own. But if we come there, we'll become small fish in a big pond. And you are a big fish also. In that pond, you will grow big. We will not know it. Better we stay here. They had this very materialistic calculation. He got disgusted, Prabhupada. Then he started his own movement. And then he put himself as a founder Acharya. Then they started criticizing him. And then when he was becoming successful, they again proposed to him, you had told, I am thinking of it. We can discuss it now that he has become successful. Then Prabhupada wrote back to them and said, yes, we'll be very happy to have you, but there's a condition now. You will become one of the members in the board along with my disciples. And it will be a collective decision on the things that we do. Completely changed all the conditions. If you want, you can step in now. Nobody answered, they didn't take part. Right? So, we need to be smart also. Look at your own requirement. Anybody else? Right, I would like to hear your comment. Bhakti Vinod Prabhu.
That was a very succinct analysis of the situation of Prabhupada. Very nice, thank you. What is the connection between ruling the state and getting married?
What's the connection between ruling the state and getting married? Good question. Well, for being a king, Grahastha life is the best, because you have the support of a good wife, dharmic wife. Because the act of ruling the state is a dharmic act. It's not like people are doing nowadays. And that's why Narada Muni and Swayambhu Manu are involved in influencing and making Priyavrata understand. So Priyavrata wanted to renounce and keep going ahead. So why should I get married? I might as well leave and go. That was his mood. But to do this seva, it is necessary that a person is married. Because it's about praja, it's about politics, it's about infidels and invasions on your country, on your rajya, and you have to do all these things. And it's better you have that type of an ashrama that supports this. That's my immediate take on. And therefore it's not like Krishna conscious movement, you can be a sannyasi and you can go around wherever you go, you'll get prasadam, and of course you have to face some politics, it's all part of life. It's not like that, the same thing. We are not ruling state, we are trying to form our own organization, it'll take a lot more time. And that leads to another whole topic about religion and state, dharma and state. Nowadays, we have come down in history where both has been separated. We call it a secular state, and there should be no religion in the state. And India proudly says we are a secular republic in the Constitution of India. It's not supposed to be like that. The best combination is to have state and religion together. Because then only it will be proper ruling. Then only it will be proper governance. Right? So that's a big topic altogether. So in that type of a situation where you are a monarch, and there's a monarchy, there's a king, and normally he has a queen or he has queens, and that's common for a Kshatriya, because his things that are demanded out of him are a little more rajasic, and that type of nature is required, and that has to be dovetailed in Krishna's service. So it's perfectly all right in that situation to be married. You must be. Otherwise you'll have other type of internal struggles and problems.
You touched on a very good point about the modern state and the spiritual way to rule a state. That's a very big difference.
Yeah, that's a whole big topic.
The whole big topic. As a part of a little bit of a humorous contrast between Priyavrata and King Bharat. Because you are accustomed to rule the state, so when he saw the small deer, he thought he was still a king, and he has to protect it.
Yeah, good point. Yes. He was still carrying kingship out of force of habit.
So I hope Priyavrata is not in that hazard.
No, he had a good wife.
No, this was when Bharat came out of the palace.
The wife was dear to him. She was playing a good role. He didn't need another deer.
He came alone.
That's exactly the thing. You see, we have to invest our emotional situation in a wife, and we need that support. For a king especially, as you rightly said. And Bharat also would have done that. Yo dustajan darasutan suhrid rajyam hridi sprishah juho yuvaiva malavat uttama shloka lalasa. It's mentioned about Bharat Maharaj that Darasutan, he gave up his wife, his children, suhrid rajyam hridi sprishah. What is very close to the heart, his kingdom, his treasury and his army and everything, he gave it up. He gave all these things up, went to the forest, and he achieved a bhava stage and all that. And even then, like you rightly said, some other things happened to him. The dangers are always there. But Priyavrata was nicely having cushioned support from all great personalities to do. So we're always dependent on the blessings of our seniors and elders and Vaishnavas for us to execute difficult roles like this.
So, the state of ISKCON, if you can call it the state of ISKCON.
You're punning on the word called state.
So, it may not be a geographical state, but in some sense, the word Samaraja is used, not necessarily geographical. Because other people ruled the actual geographical area. The Samrat was not actually ruling the geographical part, but he was ruling the rulers.
Yeah.
Samrat was ruling the rulers.
The English you call it emperor.
Yeah, or imperial.
Imperial.
So how do we move forward in this one?
We are supposed to be the imperial. In 10,000 years we'll be ruling the world.
No, practical terms.
Yeah.
Because you said we are not monarchs, even though we call you Maharaj.
That's a different type of a
I
Maharaj.
hope you don't mistake us.
No, I won't. As long as you give me good prasadam.
We are on the same page. So the point is, ISKCON as a state, because Rama Bhakti Samrajya, there is a song like that. So Bhakti Samrajya is also a Samrajya.
That is what we should look at.
Yes.
Over a willing acceptance of the people of the world, that they will accept such a person who is a devotee as their ruler.
But Bhakti is very important. Bhakti
Exactly.
Samrajya, if that is missing, it is only Samrajya.
Exactly.
So that will keep moving up, then they have problems. So if we bring Bhakti Samrajya, our state of ISKCON can move smoothly.
Of course, no doubt. That's our idea. We can't have any governance without God. Prabhupada spoke about a godless civilization. And he often said that we should factor God inside. That is at a basic level he was trying to say that. But you are talking at a higher level. Definitely it has to mature to the point of understanding that our governance cannot be devoid of God. Governance with no God. Yeah. Yeah, of course, we won't. But even in ISKCON we should understand that each one of us may have our own realizations and understanding, like he pointed out. We should also accept governance and authority above. We are going through a tussle in many ways in that, but it should have the proper understanding. I think we will mature to the proper understanding. What is governance? How we should place Prabhupada in the governance. And it is not this thing about Prabhupada is no more or something like that. Prabhupada is here forever. His teachings are here forever. And how he is factored into the governance. And I think we'll go a long way. We need to discuss those things in a more detailed fashion. Thank you for raising the point. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Maharaj.